rehashing IPs.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, Bernie was like one of the best parts of like those.
He was
Bernie Mac,
yes,
100%. Yeah, and he would have been, I think, continuous, but he died.
He passed away.
Yeah, he passed away. Like, he was great.
The Bernie Mac show was hilarious. Way funnier than
Everybody
Steve
hates Chris.
Everyone Hates Chris was kind of funny though because Chris Rock wasn't in it.
Yeah, that's exactly what. I mean, like his early stand up, it was funny.
fun,
but like,
yeah.
I don't think Chris Rock is that funny anymore.
He's not.
Oh, I thought he was real funny on his last.
The Heart and Rock.
Was that like the 2 year ago Netflix?
No, it was when him and Kevin Hart went on tour last year.
Oh, I didn't see no, but like 2 year ago Netflix one.
Industry plan Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
I mean, he could be, but
Chris Rock was funny at a time though.
I guess it's too like maybe he still is
CB4,
funny,
like,
but
that
yeah.
was-
Like, but I stopped paying attention because I believed he's not funny. He might be funny still, but like,
I
Right
bet
now,
you
yeah.
he's funny.
he's probably a funny guy.
He's
Hang out with him.
Because he's smart. He's like I don't want to say it, but he like educated.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say he's like Everybody Loves Raymond.
He's supposed to be hilarious.
Hey guys,
but
guys.
I never got into that.
I like that show.
Everybody
Was that
Loves
his real
Raymond?
brother?
No.
They kind of, they kind of look alike though.
Right, bud.
Yeah, right, man. He would talk like that. And the mom and dad.
What'd you think about Chappelle's new stand up?
I loved it. I thought it was
Through and through?
Yeah, through and through.
Was it? I haven't seen it. Was it actually like stand up, or was it like
stand-up.
his kind of shtick that he's?
It's a shtick.
It's stand up, but because of the way he delivers things now, because of the way he talks to the like Killing Them Softly, he wasn't talking to the crowd the way he does now. Now everyone knows him and he knows
He's
people,
talking to-
so
yeah.
he talks to the crowd. So it's always that. So it's kind of how he does.
I thought it was cool.
I thought it was funny, but the thing it made me think, and I was sharing this with Trey yesterday, it made me think that I've been like kind of co-opted in some way to like not think that funny things are funny. Because he makes this joke about the Titan sub, and it's fucking funny, and it's so simple, and it's hilarious. And I was like, "This, I should be thinking this is funnier." Like I was like, "This is fucking funny," but I should think this is funnier.
Like that's just hilarious.
Welcome to your watery grave.
Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, I think with people like him, there's already a conversation of like Dave Chappelle doesn't like trans people, so there's already that whole thing going into it. So two sides to it. One side, he's going to make a joke about it because if he didn't, then he would lose, and you can't
let them win.
But like, truly though, if
you're standing on business,
if you're you're not. I don't
it's like
believe
Chick-fil-A ain't opening on Sunday.
but I don't.
Ever.
Yeah, I don't believe he's actually trying to throw hate and malice.
No,
and
he's trying to
discontent.
stand on his principles.
Is it ignorant? Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. Totally. Do I laugh at all the jokes? Hell no, I don't. But like, I think going into a Chappelle stand-up, you should expect that, especially if someone was making a commotion, he's going to then talk about the commotion. So like, he does that. He drives it in a fucking hilarious way at the beginning because he's like, I'm not gonna talk about trans, and then he's like, I'm gonna talk about the disabled people, which is hilarious to me because no one really backs and that's what he says. It's like no one's trying to help or back the disabled people, and so like it for what it is. I
He
thought
laughs like the guy. He's like,
yeah. For what it was, I thought it was funny. I think I appreciate the idea he's trying to do, which I think what he really wants is an hour of time where everyone feels safe to be vulnerable and laughed at. I think that's what his dream world is. I don't know if it exists. I don't know if it's right, but I understand that that's what he's trying to do is like I'm not saying F these people for an hour though. I like to make fun of everyone and have everyone be okay that I'm making fun of everyone. Which, like, I think that's always been his thing, honestly.
low key, kind of.
But I do think maybe recently he's chosen to, like, specifically be like, you know, like, he doesn't make fun of just straight white people anymore as much. But he
Or
did
black people.
yeah. So I think that also kind of makes it like, you know, if you haven't watched him over, you know, the 3 decades or 2 decades, like, and you start watching him now, you might be like, damn, this dude's like
Different.
mean. Like you might think it is, but like.
It depends because I don't.
But because
it
you've
depends
also
on how
watched
you look
him.
at the no.
You know his arc.
But I think
If you saw him come
the
out
scope
with this,
of your reality though, some people would feel still he's a mean person now. I don't think he's a mean person.
no, but what I mean is like if you saw if your very first introduction to him was this, and you were like, well, why isn't he talking about anybody else? Like because you don't know the history of him. Like that's
Why does he have to? That's where we are now. Like everyone either wants to be included or not talked about. And that's all. Like I can't stand it, dude. Like I really can't. And it's gonna sound like an old person, but I really can't stand it.
Well,
You
I
do
would
sound
say
like an
like
old person.
I can't
with
stand
comedy, that's like the ideal. Or I think that's the intention of a lot of people. But I mean, there are a lot of comics that just go
On one specific.
yeah, and then it's like
Norm
like
Macdonald.
like trying to
do
be
that
funny,
shit.
but like it is hurtful and
Yeah.
stuff.
Kramer.
A lot of comics are hurtful.
Kramer.
Yeah, and they're like
Never
and-
heard of him
and they
again.
are at the expense of someone. But it's like you're getting like I guess you could say like low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I feel like it is kind of a comics are a barometer for like
Climate of our social status.
yeah, and like whether that's like
suppose.
you can't really say that that's good or bad because it's like yeah, certain words like I think this was exactly what man I'm referencing that interview so much like I hope
good.
everybody's seen it.
It
It was great. I thought it was great. It was like it was almost like a casual stand up thing, but it's like
Especially beginning.
certain words were used and then like they were hurtful, but then it's like, oh, maybe like we shouldn't say that anymore. Like he was saying, like you can't say certain words, but then there's ways around it, and it's like it's a little more like
you made
tasteful.
a very eloquent point at pointing that out too.
Yeah,
Like,
and
you
it's
don't
like-
have to say. You could say this. We know what you mean. You could say this.
Yeah.
We know what you mean.
Yeah, totally. Which is, I think we've had this conversation a few times. Like you're educated. You don't have to use a specific word.
But that's why I like Chappelle. I don't feel like he ever says anything demeaning towards.
That's my point.
Like
That's my
it's
point. Is I'm saying I don't think he's out there trying to actually be hurtful, demeaning. Nothing. Mainly because his delivery. Nothing of his delivery makes me think like he's actually trying to tear people down or hurt them or anything like that. Might like if you're offended by being the butt of a joke,
maybe
then
shouldn't be at a comedy special.
but you will also be offended. And that's also, I want to say that's okay. Like there's nothing wrong with you being offended, but just also look at it. Like look at the fact that like I am offended by this. Like it doesn't mean that he is trying to offend me or attack me. It means I am offended. And then on the other side of it, somebody can vocalize that and it's and Chappelle can hear it. And I kind of think this, like, to me, it sounds like he actually listens more than he puts on to. Like it seems like he takes in like,
Well, yeah, that's
'Cause
the
he's
way
not
he
wilding
crafted
out.
Those trans jokes, you could tell they were very well crafted. Like he
Yeah.
took time and the way he was wording them to
to not be hurtful.
to
or
not be
hateful.
hurtful.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Like who is that dude? Andrew Dice Clay back in the day. I feel like
Well, that's just like like his whole thing was like he's just
Yeah,
crass.
he's-
It's not really
yeah.
funny. He's just like
Yeah.
saying things that people aren't saying at the moment.
was
Yeah.
Dane Cook kind of like that too?
Kinda, but he was
I
just,
don't
he
think
was just
so.
kind of like silly and slapstick
Yeah.
and like yeah, at the time like I remember it was hilarious. The first,
I think Dane Cook
first-
was stoner
first things.
comedy. I
Yeah.
liked it. I remember him talking about breaking and entering, calling it B&E, and they're like, a bacon and eggs? I love bacon and eggs.
Yeah,
But
it was just like
it's
it was
stoner
silly.
comedy.
Yeah,
It's
or
silly.
it was like bees, fuck bees and stuff, and it's
Yeah.
but I think also what is the bane of some of comedy or like whatever, it's like it doesn't grow. It doesn't grow with like society because like what they were saying like jokes that they were saying in the 80s, yeah, you can't
Yeah,
say
you
that
can't,
now.
yeah.
It's just because if like people are doing things that people can't relate to, like or if it's talking a certain way, like it won't hit the same way.
I think I would love to challenge that idea, not your idea, but like the idea of you can't say things to you can, but you have to your point, you have to take the fucking fact that now you live in this generation. If you made a joke in the 80s, Eddie Murphy should probably not do his 80s stand-up that he like now.
But that he's
Or
known for.
delirious.
Raw. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
like
yeah,
his
yeah,
legendary
yeah.
stand-up
His
set,
legendary-
like-
which is funny because I think everyone's brain who has an adequate full functioning brain goes, this is from the 80s. I can laugh at this. Like I think that kind of fun. If you were to watch it right now, you would laugh, right? Like probably
Depends, because I watched that one Gene. What's his name?
Gene Wilder.
What was that movie?
We were talking about Blazing Saddles.
Oh,
yeah.
I wasn't necessarily laughing.
No.
Now I'm like,
that shit's crazy.
Oh shit, they
That's
got away with that back
That shit's
then?
crazy.
a little crazy.
Especially for Sidney Poitier.
I wasn't necessarily laughing, but I was just like, God damn.
Yeah, that shit's crazy. Yeah.
I remember when I was like younger, I was like, this is funny. And then like, I watched it like, I think like last year and I was like,
which is
crazy.
wild because that was a Mel Brooks piece. And like, he's a director out of that. So you kind of think like how directors used to drive movies. That was like, that was all okay. That was all G, all good. I understand how old heads don't switch and they keep on going with the whole thing and like how that gets people in trouble because like stuff that everyone was like, oh, this was okay back in the day. It's like, well, it probably was never okay.
I'm fine with vernaculars changing, society changing, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not fine with, it seems like right now this is going to be victim blaming because there's no victim right now. I feel like everyone.
Thanks for the
good
trigger warning right there.
Good.
Yes, I feel like everyone takes offense to stuff feels like they are the only one affected, and their offense is the only offense to be felt, and they need to be heard.